more Astral Chain content to be made, and it's different from what I said in the previous episode, and I do mean that. So, you guys see the length. You thought you'd be thinking that the files didn't take that long, the case didn't take that long, and all that. And I actually did the 3 cases pretty decently fast. No. I'll say this. Today's episode is only 1 case, and you're gonna see why it's only 1 case. But goddamn. Just going through the raw footage again, or like going through the raw footage just to get an episode out in general, for the 2 successful attempts I did on that recording, I got up to 47 minutes of just 2 cases. 2 cases, and I'm already up to 47 minutes. What the hell? That is way too much for a voiceover, for you guys to watch in general and all that. Because it's just the same content and all that. It doesn't have to split it up into like separate cases, but like, yeah, no. It went up to 47 minutes, and I'm just like, I'd rather not just sit down and do 47 minutes. Before, I've done it before, because I had like live commentary to keep me sane while doing it. But now it's just terrible. And here's the thing, this is not the best attempt I did it. This is literally like my first attempt doing this case. I kept it in because you get to see how annoying this case is. Because Jesus, is it annoying. The whole premise of this Harmony Square fight is that every single round, there is support for the enemies. So as you saw on the first one, it was a Nemean. Fuck, I forgot the other one. But yeah, like it's just 2 enemies and then a Cur and a arrow shell in the back, which is kind of annoying. Right now it should be all the other stuff, but this is just terrible on supports and all that. And what's even funnier is that, as you saw during some of the fights, you actually get 2 rounds of supports if you defeat the first one, which is very annoying. And holy crap, does it get to the point where patience is your only friend during this case. Like, I know for me, I was recording this with my mic muted, so you can't hear like my live reactions to this. But I know at the end of this case, I literally like was flabbergasted at how long it took me to do this 1 case. So yeah, no. The whole premise of this fight is that every fight has its own like their own support. And it gets annoying after a while. The first one's not that bad, just the Lamia and the Nemean. 1 ice, 1 stun. So pretty easy to figure out. Pretty easy to just dig up the Lamia when they go away. In general, a good strat for this case would be take out at least 1 of the supports for the enemy that is easiest for you to defeat. So for me in this round, I took out the Lamia. I took out the Cur first, then the Lamia, because the Lamia is going to be more of a trouble, and you can kind of deal with the Lamia easier. So I took that out. After I took out the arrow shell, the Nemean was the only one I had left. After the Nemean got down, or after the new support came down for everyone, I just started prioritizing the enemies that came down. So the arrow shell and the arrow shells are the only ones that are not getting punished, while the carriers was the only protection I had. Also, the gravity storm the gravity storm that was keeping everyone in with the sick attack of the Sword Legion was pretty cool. Legit, once you get the supports down, once you get every enemy of the support down, you're just fighting the normal enemy, which is just like a normal fight. But this game, or this case, requires a lot of patience because you only have, you only have like five-ish heals to grab, and there's more in the chest if you want to collect them mid fight. But there's only like five heals you can get, and the only way you can heal normally in quotes, is that you have to get the Zangetsu, the special takedown, to refill your HP to full. And there are times where you can't do that. This one here is more annoying than ever. And your best friend for this fight, or in the fights in general with the remaining cases, is the Beast Legion. Since the Beast Legion riding, you are impervious to taking any damage while riding it, because the Beast Legion auto dodges. You're in a perfect scenario to just run in, take good shots, and then run away. And Jesus Christ, you need it, because some enemies are just unfair with the combination that they give. This one right now is the Scylla and the Hecate, combined with one Axe Shell and one Care. The shell I took out right now was for the Scylla, which is the better of the two enemies to take out. Hecate's gonna be annoying. Or I think it's this one, but the enemy in the back is gonna be the hardest one to deal with because of pot shots and all that. Super Armor Alpha or Super Armor Omega would be very beneficial, because it makes it good for you to know. Also, like, knowing when to just take a back seat and knowing when to run away and just give yourself some space to reconsider your strategy is really good. Because moves like Howl, Slow Shot, Gravity Storm, and the riding of the Beast Legion can give you time to just sit, think, while keeping your eyes engaged on what's going on. And that was the lowest I've ever gotten in this case, 71 HP. Next up we're going on is just fighting against this Hecate. Taking out the Kerr is the first scenario I want to get rid of. It's a Callisto. So yeah, getting rid of the Callisto is decently good to get rid of. But taking out the support would be great, and once you take out the support, more will show up. It's better if you actually like cut the support, focus damage on the Callisto, or focus damage on the second enemy before taking out the support, which would be great. Would make it pretty easy to like understand and keep a track of where the enemies are and all that. And that's not a bad strategy if you were to use it. But know that after a while, the shell will go back on the enemy and you have to take it down again. And with the Callisto, one of the shots being just a single type of variety for every element in the game, it's kind of annoying after a while, so do be careful for that. But now that we're going close to the Callisto, we can actually like go and have some fun with some sneak attacks and all that. And yeah, no, this case does take a while. And you're gonna see, like, by the end of this, why I split up the one recording I did with 2 cases completed. One case into a separate episode and then one into another one, because Jesus Christ. I said, like, during this session in general was like the third most patient I've ever been playing a video game. And usually I'm not that patient playing video games. Not that I don't like being patient. I have figured out that I am very patient in video games. But more in the sense that whatever I do with gaming, I usually try to brute force it. And if my strategy or if what I'm doing works, why bother going on the next one? But yeah, no, this is like the third most I've ever been patient in a video game, which is kind of surprising because I played a good chunk of fighting games. I play really good. I played decent in like online Smash Brothers, which, God, the online is very patient oriented. And how I've played multiple RPGs at the time, and have played Okami, which I have to be patient in that game for a couple of bosses and some challenges later on in the game as well. But geez, I never expected myself to get back into being patient for enemies. And since we're like very close to the end, I know we have like 5 cases left by the time I'm recording this, and at the end of this we'll be at 4. If this is how patience is gonna be and how the case is gonna be, by the end of it, I'm probably gonna have to like edit them down to like 1 case per video. But that gives me not more of an opportunity to upload, it gives me more of a chance to actually sit down and just concentrate on the 1 case per, yeah, like 1 case per video, and actually think more about keeping the case alive instead of just thinking of like how long have I been recording. Not much else to say. The third fight here with Alode and the Hydras. The Hydras don't matter that much, but what I've been doing mostly is that I've been taking out the supports from the Hydras when they get when they get shielded, because that's the best way to keep the shells off of the Alode. The Alode in general is my biggest threat because of its shockwave, its funky little maneuver of just trying to keep me out of the shockwaves. The only reason why I kept the Hydras alive is that just attacking it with a Sent Beast Legion into a couple of the Gladius strikes will give me a good chance to heal. And once that fun stuff goes up, you can have fun in your own right. But yeah, no, what I was expecting out of this case was gonna be not simple. I read the I read what was gonna like show up for this case, just like some reading from the guide and all that, and I knew this was gonna be an annoying case. But once I sat down and did this in practice, it came to mind why I was correct in saying that this case was gonna be annoying as hell. And the next case ain't gonna be better either. Yeah, the next episode is gonna be funnier. There's gonna be like a couple times that I don't have a quote-unquote intro for the remaining of the episodes. I think just next episode doesn't have a quote-unquote like Astral Shade intro, and I do not want to record it either. But yeah, with this round done, I think we're like halfway through the fight. Yeah, like over halfway through the fight, which is great. Next one up here is a Ladon and a Dryad. No, I think, yeah, a Dryad. I see it in the background. But yeah, no, same rules apply. If you want a better way to keep up, because like the only items you get during this, and you saw it in the beginning of the the second fight, is that you only have buffing. You only have energy drinks. So yeah, you only have energy drinks, which consist of like increased damage, increased defense, armor, and sometimes on moves and all that. So it's really good to just know when to cut your losses and all that. Also, since like the shells have very low HP, they're more susceptible to just getting. They're like easier to accidentally knock out, especially with the spin cycle. But it makes it easy for you to get like free heals as well if you have them just sitting there. Also, one gripe I've been getting recently with Astral Chain, just playing this cases multiple times and switching to legions, is that sometimes Sometimes when I try to do the like a Legion switch, it doesn't give me the Legion I want, and I hold Y for like long. Every time I want to get a Beast Legion, it doesn't give me the Beast Legion, especially if I'm in like the third or fourth one. It just gives me the sword, like the Sword Legion automatically, like I just pressed it once. It's kind of weird, but probably just inputting it or not getting the correct diagonal. But Jesus, it's been like getting to a point where it's starting to annoy me annoy me a lot, because when you're trying to switch back into your Legion to go around to like gauge the situation and gauge when you want to attack, it becomes a detriment and becomes like more of like not a user error, but more of a problem with trying to figure out what to do. But I think after this Axe Shell and the shell that's covering the Ladon, that's it for the support on this round, which will help us to fight the Dryad more and the Ladon more. I do think that like the Ladon is the more of the situation, more of the problem with this round. The Ladon is here to just hit you with pot shots and all that. That's the only thing it's gonna do, especially I think since it doesn't have a since it's like the only one that I think doesn't have a laser in yeah, like a laser to use. Never mind. Well, I'll get caught out immediately. But yeah, I think it's like one of the few that can use like a laser more effectively than the other serpent enemy, because it usually just shoots the big old ball of energy. So like dealing with the Dryad made it a lot easier because you get to see what it's doing. But anyway, I'm also happy that what was it? The shell enemy wasn't Lampus, because Lampus is going to be more of an annoyance in this. And as you saw, like the last round does have a Lampus in it, same thing with an Echidna, and that is like the most beautiful thing you can see. Like I know when I saw those two on when I first did this, all hell went loose, and I just began just riding my Beast Legion to the point where I had to just keep it like as a hotkey or something. It became that much used. It became used that much that it sort of felt weird if I didn't have it. Here we are with Lampus and Echidna. And this is where the majority of the time is gone, and the majority of what to do comes after. With these two, Lampus and Echidna are very annoying. Lampus has the like the big old shield and the big old laser that can happen, and Echidna has a pretty big homing move of a shot. So once it does a shot, it homes in on you from like a mile away. So you do got to be careful and all that, that you have to just ride your Beast Legion until victory, or you just have some fun with it. And every time I get a chance to come in after a Beast Howl and an Arrow Legion stun, I just come in, do some damage with the Axe Legion, and then just run away and just regain neutral. Trying to think of what I can do for damage, and whenever I can do it is really good. The only reason why I don't do the Sync Attack, or the Gravity Storm for the Arm Legion is that the darker enemies are not affected by Gravity Storm. So it'd be a waste of time to just prog it up and just have fun with it. And in general, the biggest target for me is Lampus, because Lampus does have its laser move, and if you don't get out of the way, it does like 800 damage. So it's very annoying to just use, or very annoying to deal with if you are fighting Echidna. So I just have Echidna to do its own thing, and whenever I get close to Lampus, after its laser or after an attack, once Howl has been replenished, I Howl, I do slow shots so it can hit the Echidna in the back, and then just pile on damage with the Axe Legion, and then just fuck off. And that's just what it's been. If you guys can find a better strategy for this, please tell me in the comments. But this is like a pretty decent strategy to do, but it will take a while. It will take a while for you to just sit down and do any damage. Taking in like one of the energy drinks, so yeah, one of the energy drinks, I think fishy water, that increases your attack and your critical chance, but at the cost of your defense, is your best bet for doing it, which is what I actually do. If not, I did bone potage for the defense and the armor if you really think you're not gonna increase. Golden tea is really good as well because it increases both your attack and your defense, but at the cost of your charge being cut in half, which, if you're defeating enemies normally, it's not gonna be that much of a problem. Also, that Zangetsu really did save me from the laser. Really happy that the that cut really did save me, because if I didn't, I would have actually lost during that this round, and I honestly do believe that I would have lost that round because I think it does 2 hits, both 800, or yeah, both 800, or both like 1,000, which would give me over my limit. Also, as you saw, the reinforcement just showed up. I know in the case files, and that's what I'm gonna call it, the case file. So like the guide, they said that once one of the enemies goes away, that's a really good time as well. You get the reinforcements for that enemy, and I think since Lampus is so close to just dying, it made it kind of annoying to deal with. And since the shells came up, I had to change my strategy on the fly to give myself a chance to get rid of all the shells, so I can do damage to both Lampus and Echidna, and stun Echidna with Howl and Slow Shot, and just sit down and just see if I can get rid of Lampus. And I did get Lampus down. So now it was just back to Echidna, and Echidna is way easier than Lampus. It's still one of the harder darker enemies in the game. The problem with me and Echidna is that every time I try to attack it normally, I overexert. Where I think when I explained it when we first fought him in I think it was like the first round 3 case with the slime. I think it was like round 2 or 3. Echidna gave me the most problems because I always overexerted and always died to it. Where it gets off me tool, its little spin cycle it does, will do a lot of damage. And if you don't have like a blue shield up, or you stay there for too long, every hit will combo into your health. And if you don't switch to your Beast Legion in time, or don't switch into your Axe Legion in time to mitigate the damage, you're gonna be taking a lot of damage, and I think can actually like one-shot you from full HP. So do be mindful of that, and use your time wisely to just scout when your abilities come back on. If you have any quick cooldown, it makes it even easier. And when to just go in balls to the wall, when to drink an energy drink, and when to just have fun. But with that, this case is done and this episode is concluded, but you'll see how long this thing took me, because I actually do go back up. This thing took me 19 minutes, and the next case, together with all the cutscenes and all that, put this video at 47 minutes. And I'd rather not torture you guys with 47 minutes of just patience. But for today, this episode has been concluded. I'm sorry I can only put one case out, but now you see why I feel like I have to separate these cases on a 1 episode per case. But yeah, no, today's episode is done. I'm really sorry that I cannot show any more, but Jesus, this is gonna be an annoyance to do, because you'll see in the next episode why. But thank you all for joining me today. No computer this time, so talk to y'all then.